This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, pests in the region come under fire at an Otago Regional Council meeting. Emergency Management Southland secures more funding for their preparation plan for the South Island's next major earthquake. And we catch up with Roxburgh residents as they help clean up the destruction left by Sunday's torrential weather. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Pests in the region came under fire at an Otago Regional Council meeting today. The Contorta pine was discussed along with 4 reports of wallaby sightings made in Oamaru, Balclutha and at Dunstan Creek.
Rabbits, cows, wallabies and pine trees were the hot topic species at an Otago Regional Council committee meeting this morning. Otago Regional Council biosecurity staff have been assisting the Ministry for Primary Industries in their Mycoplasma bovis response, which involved the depopulation of 4,000 cattle from 4 infected properties in South Canterbury and North Otago in the hope of containing the disease. And wallaby control was discussed after 4 reported wallaby sightings in the South Island in recent months.
You go across the bridge, Beaumont, if you're a cyclist, you've got to press a button. Why couldn't we do the same on the dams with the gate?
The council is also looking at contorta pines in relation to the Regional Pest Management Plan review. The council says the threshold for pine culling should be considered on the basis of whether the trees have been planted for a purpose or are wilding pines.
Somehow we need to be working alongside, and his indication is that nobody in that area knew that it was illegal to have these trees.
Public drop-in sessions have also commenced for the community to give their views on pest management. Sessions are being held in Cromwell, Dunedin, Balclutha and Oamaru. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
Parking fees will increase across central Queenstown from next week as the council moves to encourage people onto buses in the resort. The changes coincide with the recent upgrade to the public transport service, including the $2 fare launched across the Wakatipu Basin last week. Parking has long been problematic around the resort town. The Queenstown Lakes District Council says some parking fees will cost twice as much from next week. Queenstown Lakes Mayor Jim Bolt says raising the parking charges will ensure the new bus services are sustainable. Emergency Management Southland has secured a further $170,000 in funding to help prepare a plan for when the South Island's Alpine Fault causes a major earthquake. The funding for Project Alpine Fault Magnitude 8 was announced by Civil Defence Minister Chris Farfoy as part of the 2018 Resilience Fund. Sharon Rees has more.
Emergency Management Southland manager Angus Mackay is spreading awareness of the potential damage that could be caused by a rupture in the Alpine Fault. A plan called Project AF8, managed by Emergency Management Southland, started in 2016 with a focus on spreading awareness, and Mackay says its timing is no coincidence.
GNS science have gone back about 8,000 years, and they can see with pretty good certainty every time the Alpine Fault is ruptured. And it goes about every 300 years. So the last time it happened was in 1717, which is 300 years ago. So we know it's going to happen in the lifetime of people alive today.
He says the rupture could produce devastating effects similar to the earthquakes in Canterbury and more recently in Kaikoura. According to simulations run by scientists, the rupture could produce sideways movement of around 8 to 10 metres and an uplift of about 2 metres.
From Milford Sound for about 400 kilometres up the South Island, we'll get that movement across and up. So if you imagine a road's going across that, or a pipeline or a power line, they're all going to break. So we're going to have some really big infrastructure damage all the way down the South Island.
He says Invercargill may be one of the least affected cities in the South Island, adding to the reasons Emergency Management Southland is the one implementing the plan.
Down in Invercargill and Gore might actually get away quite lightly compared to other parts of the country. So it's a good idea that we're there coordinating some of this work, because when the actual event happens, we might be using our facilities down here to actually coordinate a lot of the response in the South Island.
The funding secured this week is the third successful application of funding for the project since its inception and will go towards hiring someone to work full-time on the project. Mackay says while there's no precise figure for the funding needed, negotiations are underway to secure long-term funding for the project. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
The Reserve Bank is to ease the lending restrictions on home buyers from January. The central bank says it will increase the cap on banks from 10% to 15% for new mortgage lending to owner-occupiers from the start of next year. Reserve Bank Governor Grant Spencer says in the past 6 months, pressures on the housing market had continued to moderate due to further lightening of the loan-to-value ratio. Roxburgh continues cleaning up after heavy rains flooded much of the area on Sunday afternoon. The South Today spoke to residents as they rolled up their sleeves and got to work.
With dark storm clouds threatening more thunderstorms, many Roxburgh residents were cleaning up their garages and gardens of unwanted silt from Sunday's flash flood.
My garden's a mess and I'm lucky my house, other people's houses are worse off than mine, but
just having a bit of a clean up around the house and had the insurance people in, Jay's cleaning, but no, everything seems to be alright at the moment, but now we've got this rain coming in again, so no, it's not like the other night.
Luckily, the forecast threat of more rain did not amount to much, and many locals were philosophical about the mud and mess they were having to clean up.
It's a bit of a shock, but you just keep on going and you do it.
Central Otago Mayor Tim Cadigan said they hope to restore water to the town today and were advising people to turn their water off at the mains until the system was flushed clean.
We're going to be sending messages out to the community and assisting the community to turn their tobies off in Roxburgh itself. The reason for that is that when the pressure comes back in on the system, that water is going to be inevitably dirty water. We don't want that going into people's washing machines, dishwashers and so forth. So tobies off if you've got a chance to do that, and we'll also be messaging that to people and assisting those who can't.
Cadigan said that clearing the road north out of Roxburgh was proving harder than first thought, but road detours were in place for those heading north. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, we find out why the new telephone book for next year has slimmed down compared to previous years. And if you're planning on a walking trip to the top of Wanaka's Mount Roy, you may find yourself in a queue.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
They're part of the family, and like us, their health begins with what they eat too. So give them Radical Dog, made in New Zealand from all natural ingredients and real tart cherries, so it's high in antioxidants. It's a 3-in-1 superfood, giving them energy, flexibility and a healthy coat. With no fillers or nasty preservatives, they love them. It's the treat that can work wonders on every dog, no matter what their breed, age or health. Radical Dog, the new generation in dog food.
At the Otago SPCA, our role is to make sure that all animals in Dunedin and the Otago region are being looked after properly. Otago SPCA offer a haven for animals in need and adoption opportunities for the community. We appreciate your interest and support. For help and advice, we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have any concerns, give us a call.
My elves and I just love coming to Alex Campbell's. That's my favourite shop. I always get good value here, and good boys really deserve good brands and good quality. Look at these tees. Local beaches on some of them too. This is only for the good boys, the old boys, the young boys. What about some bright shorts for the boys? Excellent.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
The University of Otago, New Zealand's only true collegiate university. For first-year students, the history, the expectations of excellence are
unfamiliar.
G'day, I'm next door.
Hi, next door. I'm Samantha Pascoe.
No, you're not. I'm Josh, Clyde, Science. And you are?
Sam, Hastings, Laura and Arts.
Tane, Auckland, Commerce. Osaka, Greece, Classics. History.
Gillian's Care. They care for loved ones, families, friends and our community. At a time of bereavement, care and support makes all the difference. And Gillian's know this. They're here for you when you need it most. From advanced funeral planning to a service for your loved one, Gillian's will guide and assist you with your individual choices. Their legendary attention to detail and passion to get it right are second to none. Gillian's, caring for families in our communities since 1962.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
While you're relaxing this holiday season, Ready Lawn is available to help you with your lawn needs, big or small. We work so you don't have to. Call Ready Lawn today.
Motor Trade Finance proudly brings you Rural Delivery. A look at the places and faces behind New Zealand agriculture. Tuesday evenings 8:30, repeating Saturday morning at 8 and Sunday afternoons 4:30.
Welcome back. The new telephone book for next year is out now and it's thinner than ever. The South Today took a look at to find out why.
What a difference 10 years makes. The phone book on the left is from 2007, the slimmer one on the right is 2018. While some of the reduction in thickness is due to a smaller print size, home landlines have also gone out of fashion.
I think a lot of people are ditching the landline. I certainly don't have one, and I guess that's the way of the future.
No, I don't have a landline.
I still have one, yeah, definitely still have one.
No, I don't. Just a mobile.
Just about getting beyond having it.
The only person who uses my landline is my mother.
Technology has moved on, with cell phone masts popping up everywhere, and so many of us relying on cell phones as a main source of communication. But Dunedin resident Heather Baser still recalls when she operated a totally manual telephone exchange in Britain in the 1950s.
We had to plug in and say, number please, and then they said whatever, and we repeated it and found the right number, the right hole, and plugged in and found the little key and pulled that back to make it ring. And then it was a case of, I'm trying to connect you. I'm still trying to connect you. I'm sorry, there's no reply. And it was all manual. We had to do it.
The telephone book's font size was reduced in 2012, which is okay for some people, but not others.
It gets smaller every year, your eyes get worse.
The print size is fine.
Yeah, it's fine for me.
I think it would be still quite difficult for maybe the elderly to sort of be able to extract proper numbers because of the size of the print.
The 2018 phone book still has a little over 100 pages for the Dunedin area, with each page listing about 200 privately owned landlines. Thus, simple math suggests there are about 20,000 landline subscribers in Dunedin, about half of what there were 10 years ago. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
The top of a mountain might seem an unusual place for a queue to form, but that's the case on Wanaka's Mount Roy. After a 3-hour climb, tourists are waiting for up to half an hour at the peak for the chance to pose for that one special photo. Mark Price reports.
It's an image that has become symbolic of Wanaka, Roy's Peak, a place for tourists to get away from it all. Except every day 150 tourists are attempting to get away from it all in exactly the same spot. and that means forming an orderly queue and waiting for that photo opportunity.
We had to wait for like half an hour to really get it. Like all people were standing in a queue until the next came, and yeah, everyone could take the pictures they want.
Yeah, quite a few people. It's pretty hectic, but it's absolutely stunning.
Lake Wanaka tourism boss James Helmore does not see the numbers on Mount Roy as an issue and points out Mount Sinai in Egypt handles 10 times as many tourists as Roy's Peak.
In the case of Mount Sinai, there's 1,500 people a day walking up there, and you compare that to Mount Roy at 150, and the only difference really is that Mount Sinai is invested in the level of infrastructure required to cater for 1,500 people. You know, think parking, toilets, track surface, interpretive signage, all that sort of stuff. And that's what we've got to do not only for Mount Roy, but for the Wanaka or Upper Clutha region as a whole.
The track opened for the summer season 2 weeks ago, with a car park double the size of last year. The best advice from tourists coming back from the peak seemed to be make an early start to beat the heat and cut the queue. Mark Price for the South Today.
A 23-year-old Dunedin singer has been accepted to compete in an American songwriting competition. Bronwyn Haley has until mid-2018 to raise the necessary funds to travel overseas and represent New Zealand songwriting.
Having a bit of a play in the Octagon this afternoon, Bronwyn plays the song Quarter Life Crisis as another wave of visitors come to view the city. People playing music in public isn't to everyone's taste, sometimes attracting the attention of the authorities. Busking police aside, Bronwyn is ready to take her music to the world.
A couple of months ago I released a new EP and it got on the New Zealand charts, and then from that I've since been invited to represent New Zealand at the World Championships of Performing Arts next year in America.
She's not yet 25 years old and is understandably excited at the prospect of playing overseas.
I'm 23 and it's pretty exciting. I'm not really a fan of competitions, but if it means I get to America and stop putting it off, then why not? Plus I like original music, so that's a big thing for me.
However, the idea of turning up, unpacking the case and playing some tunes can seem like an idyllic existence. But it's not all major chords and well-crafted words.
There's like a whole payment plan, so just making sure that I will be able to afford everything at the right time, planning some more gigs and things to cover it, approaching people to potentially help fund the trip, and yeah, just making sure that it was what I wanted to do. Because I had already planned, I'm hoping to release an album next year, so I wanted to make sure I can do both and not just the America trip, because the album would probably be my priority.
Seen here earlier this month at the South Dunedin Street Festival, Bronwyn will be among the many performers at Sunday's Christmas concert in the Octagon, which follows the Dunedin Santa Parade. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
After the break on The South Today, Invercargill's tuataras are moving to a new home after bringing unwelcome guests to the Southland Museum and Art Gallery's collection. And we take a look at tomorrow's weather.
For 3 generations, the Kilpatrick family have ensured Jimmy's pies are still world famous in the South Island. Made to an old family recipe, Jimmy's pies have been one of New Zealand's traditional takeaway foods, prepared daily on the premises alongside a range of savouries, sausage rolls and cakes. Jimmy's pies are distributed throughout the lower South Island. Jimmy's pies are sure to satisfy your travelling munchies.
Gillian's Care. They care for loved ones, families, friends and our community. At a time of bereavement, care and support makes all the difference, and Gillian's know this. They're here for you when you need it most. From advanced funeral planning to a service for your loved one, Gillian's will guide and assist you with your individual choices. Their legendary attention to detail and passion to get it right are second to none. Gillian's, caring for families in our communities since 1962.
My Els and I just love coming to Alex Campbell's. That's my favourite shop. I always get good value here, and good boys really deserve good brands and good quality. Look at these teas. Local beaches on some of them too. This is only for the good boys, the old boys, the young boys. What about some bright shorts for the boys? Excellent.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
While you're relaxing this holiday season, Ready Lawn is available to help you with your lawn needs, big or small. We work so you don't have to. Call Ready Lawn today.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
At the Otago SPCA, our role is to make sure that all animals in Dunedin and the Otago region are being looked after properly. Otago SPCA offer a haven for animals in need and adoption opportunities for the community. We appreciate your interest and support. For help and advice, we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have any concerns, give us a call.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
They're part of the family, and like us, their health begins with what they eat too. So give them Radical Dog, made in New Zealand from all natural ingredients and real tart cherries, so it's high in antioxidants. It's a 3-in-1 superfood, giving them energy, flexibility and a healthy coat. With no fillers or nasty preservatives, they love them. It's the treat that can work wonders on every dog, no matter what their breed, age or health. Radical Dog, the new generation in dog food.
Loss of collagen is the reason for those fine lines and wrinkles. Silberhorn's Collagen Plus naturally supports your collagen levels, giving you younger, firmer looking skin, healthier, shinier hair and stronger nails. Joints, tendons, ligaments and cartilage all benefit from healthy collagen levels, the very foundation of structural health. Support collagen levels naturally with Collagen Plus by Silberhorn. Be quick, buy one now and get a second pack half price. Call now 0800 502 402.
Thanks for staying with us. Invercargill's iconic tuataras will be moving to a building of their own because they are a risk to the Southland Museum and Art Gallery's collection. The environment in which the tuataras live produces the type of insects no museum would welcome. Sharon Rees has more.
These little guys help make the Southland Museum and Art Gallery a unique experience for visitors. But the soil, heat and moisture which comes with the territory provides a breeding ground for insects such as silverfish and book lice, posing a risk to the museum's collection.
For the museum, best practices conservation of collections is to eliminate risks. And here we are with this whole insect breeding colony on the north of our building, so we've been aware of this. We're very vigilant in our housekeeping and keeping tabs on things. But for long term, sort of, if we're going to plan anything, this is the time to separate the tuatara from the museum collections.
He says the tuataras were once housed in a separate building, but weather conditions meant they had to be moved to their current location and that a lot of planning would be needed for the new tuatarium.
There's so many little sort of things we need to look at to make sure we get the decision right this time, and it's got to last, it's going to be here for a long time, so we've got to make the right decision, so I don't believe rushing into it is an option.
Hazley, who has worked with the tuataras for the past 45 years, says having the tuataras is essential to the Southland Museum and Art Gallery and that the new tuatarium would remain on site.
This museum's point of difference is the tuatara program. We've got other great exciting exhibitions, but the locals the revisitation that happens here of the kids, their provincial pets. We're bored, let's go see the tuatara. It's just, yeah, it's gold for this museum, is having the tuatara program here, but I'm biased, of course.
Hazley designed the current tuatarium and said he'll design the new one with the glass removed, giving the public greater access to the reptiles. The Living Dinosaurs project is listed in the Council's long-term plan as beginning in 2020. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on The South Today. Pest control was on the agenda at the Otago Regional Council meeting today, along with 4 reports of wallaby sightings made in Oamaru, Balclutha and at Dunstan Creek. Emergency Management Southland has secured a further $170,000 in funding to help prepare a plan for when the South Island's Alpine Fault causes a major earthquake. And Roxburgh continues cleaning up after heavy rains flooded most of the area on Sunday afternoon. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Barry Stewart. So what have you got for us in the news
Hello
tomorrow?
Melissa. A heritage advocate says heritage houses will be demolished ahead of changes to heritage building rules in Dunedin's district plan. So details of that in the paper tomorrow. Exciting news in Queenstown. Construction has started on a $20 million Queenstown marina, and that includes 187 floating berths, 17 floating sheds, 4 other structures, a breakwater and 156 space car parks. So a massive development there.
Fantastic. That might bring on the water taxis as a part of that.
Well, who knows? I mean, it's obviously facilities are there for all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm not sure of the detail on that. But more exciting news, a song written by 4 Dunedin secondary school pupils has hit the New Zealand top 40. On iTunes, so that's footing it amongst the likes of Ed Sheeran, etc. So
fantastic.
A song by 4 Dunedin secondary school boys. So yeah, excellent effort there. We ask Health Minister David Clark why Labor is still not releasing hospital documents months after the business case was released. And of course, cricket, we've had the first Ashes test. Now New Zealand gets in on the action, so first test against the West Indies starts at the Basin Reserve tomorrow. So we have a solid preview on that.
Lovely, thank you Barry.
Thank you.
So you can catch that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Silverhorn Collagen Plus.
Looking at the situation, the current weather pattern is static with little change from the last few days. An anticyclone is still bringing mostly fine weather with warm temperatures inland, but a few scattered showers. To the southern outlook, Balclutha and Catlins, you have light winds, some cloud and 21. Gore and Lumsden, you are the same with a slightly warmer 22 degrees. To the central outlook, Alexandra and Wanaka, you have light winds, risk of showers, and the region high goes to Alexandra with 28, 27 for Wanaka, Queenstown light winds, some cloud and 26, Te Anau light winds, fine and 21. To the northern outlook, Oamaru, you have light easterly, some cloud and 19, Timaru is the same with 20, Amarama and Twizel, you both have light winds, some afternoon showers and 27 degrees. Here in Dunedin tonight, some low cloud with an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow fine with low cloud morning and night, long sunny periods and mild northeasterly winds 19 and 11, and it's the same for Friday with 21 and 11 degrees. And in Invercargill tonight, fine with an overnight low of 8 degrees. Tomorrow mostly fine and sunny with some cloud in the afternoon, light winds, afternoon sea breezes 21 and 9, and it's the same for Friday with 24 and 9 degrees. And that's our show for this Wednesday. For the latest news from the South Today team, you can follow us on Facebook and at channel39.co.nz. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.